definitely, I saw an orb that was about the size of a softball, grapefruit, amber orange. It got it maybe as big as a basketball or like a medicine ball, and kind of expanded, got to a certain point, and then was off to the point where I thought it was one of the guys that we were with, one of the leads of the group. Why we had come back up the trail is because we had gotten growled at, this super deep guttural growl. Go back to try to find these other two folks that we're in our group of five, so we were three. Got growled at. Tried to go back for the other two. Saw the orb. Radioed in. Is this you? No, it's not us. What the hell was that growl? Which was deep and guttural. Shook my shirt.
Back to the Eye of Jupiter podcast. I'm your host, Tom Franklin. Today we have on Kevin LeStarge. He is a Bigfoot researcher and an author of 2 books. Reached out to me in a very professional manner. First time. It's really cool. Thank you guys for all your support out there. If you want to continue to support the channel, please like and subscribe to the channel. Hopefully, if it's the first time here, I earn your subscription today. If you have subscribed, please check to see if you are still subscribed. YouTube likes to play around with the algorithm from time to time and bump you guys out, I realized. Anything over an hour, you get yourself, it's called Behind the Eye. And if you want to get any episodes early, that's the silver tier. All that's in the link below. There's t-shirts, there's all kind of stuff also in below, and of course my guest links will all also be in the description below. With all that out of the way, let's please welcome to the Eye Mr. Kevin LeStarge. Almost did it. I still messed up. Yeah. What's up, buddy?
Good. How are you doing, Tom?
Oh, like I said, I was telling you in the green room there behind the, when we got to meet each other there, it's hotter than the Dickens down here in the Yucatan Peninsula, buddy. It's hot today.
Yeah. I'm up in nice and cool Wisconsin climate weather, so we're on opposite ends of the spectrum right now.
I was talking to my buddy. I have another show called it's called The Cat Scan. He's a former comic like myself, also a vet, deals with PTSD like myself, and he's like, oh, it's 50 degrees up here or whatever it was. I was like, holy why, eh? Yeah. So Kevin, please do me a favor, tell everybody a little bit about yourself, where we can find you, buddy.
Yeah, sure. And I appreciate you doing this at the front end. So
no worries, we'll do it at the back end too.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So yeah, no, people can find me. I mean, I'm trying to build out this Bigfoot archive, so therefore on Instagram you can find me at the Bigfoot archive. This is all things magazine, books, artifacts, anything kind of museum-esque, if you will, of the Bigfoot topic. Also did publish a children's book, Billy Finds Bigfoot, which is right here if anyone's watching. But then also Is It Real or Not, which is more of the middle grade book. So children's book to young adult, I would say. But that's kind of, you can find the books both on Amazon. Billy Finds Bigfoot you can also find on Hanger One Publishing. For those kind of in the know, that is Doug Hychek. He is the producer of Monster Quest.
Oh yes,
that is his publishing company. But then also you can find Is It Real or Not at Barnes and Noble. Otherwise, if you just like merch, Bigfoot t-shirts, mugs, things like that, I am also on Etsy at Pine Shadow Design. So all the places you can find me, but reach out at the Bigfoot Archive. That's probably the easiest way.
Fantastic. Oh, wow. So I think I believe for certain, actually, I know you are the first author that I have had on the show that has done a Sasquatch themed book for children. Why that? It's interesting. Maybe if I had to guess or venture a guess, would be something like, kids have seen these things. It's kind of like, hey, it's okay. Don't be afraid. We've seen them too, kind of thing. I'm guessing.
And sure, it could be that. I mean, it all kind of depends on perhaps the adult reading to the child or the little in their life, right? Um, and so again, great for any person who has that type of situation. So any little in your life, get them a book. But it's partly that, but it's also partly, you know, kind of the foundation for me was basically having the family structure that my parents allowing me to really explore and to ask questions, and they were really big proponents of thinking outside the box, and so wanting to kind of allow the space for the next generation of bigfooters to have that as well and to kind of get them started. Tom, but on top of that, there's also just some life lessons that I was going through during the time writing the book and doing all the illustrations that I wanted to kind of share some early life lessons. One of them being, don't take what you have in front of you for granted, right? And I think that's a very hard lesson for adults to even learn.
Oh, yeah.
Even now, right, as we're adults getting older, to try to kind of instill in them that sense of, appreciate what you have in front of you, appreciate the animals, appreciate the fact that like you could potentially be walking in the woods, meet someone or something, right? And like you want to be respectful of that other being or creature or person or whoever it is, right? So that was the kind of the kicking off point for why I wanted to produce this book and write it and illustrate it. But
you illustrated it as well.
Say it again.
You illustrated it as well.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Well, all right. Wow. That's fantastic, buddy. I don't know what to say about that. I mean, I can paint a little bit and I'm a musician, but to illustrate a book is a whole nother thing, dude.
I mean, and funny enough, this was also before AI came around, right? But
okay.
I remember drawing this with pen and pencil and marker here and there, and then having to Xerox it into take a scan of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't even know if people know what Xerox even means anymore, but scan it and like get it on my computer and then put some color to it. So anyway, but it was a lot of fun. And, the same thing of where I kind of am now in my office, where it's so much fun to kind of create these characters in your head and in your mind and, see what they do. And at the end of the day, Tom, like you can kind of write your book or, just even journal about Sasquatch and your thoughts about it. And sooner or later, you almost kind of can feel like that Sasquatch presence, like sitting right there with you, and you can kind of have this energy that's creative and it's exciting because, again, we don't quite know, we can get into this, but like we don't quite know what the Sasquatch is. A lot of people, it's either flesh and blood. It's more woo. It's more this shapeshifter type. But it's just an exciting topic. It's a very interesting topic.
Absolutely.
And it has been for me since I was a kid.
Yeah, let's go ahead and begin there. I was reading in your bio that it kind of started for you as you kind of trampled in your formative years through like the woods of the upper north, well, not the northwest, of the upper Midwest in I think Wisconsin, right?
Yeah, that's right. So when the internet was first kicking off, first website I went to was the BFRO, Bigfoot Field Research Organization, Met Moneymakers, website, company rather. And, I was outside in the backyard at a very early age trying to understand, is it possible to run on all fours and then stand up and hightail it across the backyard like a Sasquatch could, right? Like could humans do this, right?
Okay.
It got me at an early age to think of what is it that a Sasquatch has? Like, is it possible that it's human? And the reason why I kind of thought that way is because of the Patterson-Gimlin footage of 1967, where, it's that famous, that one frame, which,
a lot of hoopla lately about that. Yeah.
Frame 352 is kind of like the quintessential one.
Mr. M.K. Davis. Okay.
Yeah. So, but also Bill Munns, and I can totally get onto the Bill Munn side of that. But like,
Okay.
so it was that, and I think it was also there's footage of Prince Edward Island. I always come back to this because it was just so cool, where you had this guy kind of hightailing it out of the woods, looking maybe back over his shoulder, freaked out, but then you see this dark creature, look like a Sasquatch, kind of on all fours, but then stand up and then take off. But it was so fluid, and I remember that just sticking with me so much, and being so excited at the prospect of there are creatures in this world that we don't fully understand, and that we haven't, science hasn't quite gotten there, all of that.
It's human nature. It's human nature. It's like the unknown is what we want it to be known, whether it be God, whether it be the edges of the universe, consciousness, whatever. The Big Bang, or it came to me first in German, Urknall.
Yeah.
What happened before that, which makes no sense.
Or the Vril, the powers that be.
Yeah, whatever it may be. Right. Okay. We might have to do another show just about that. It's just human nature. And that's why Sasquatch, and it seems to be such a common occurrence in which people are running across these, forest creatures, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
Where people won't even go back in the woods hunting anymore. Just like, I've been out there my whole lifetime and I ain't going back. It's a really, that's a Southern kind of accent, but indeed, that's Americana, dude. That's such a big part of our culture. And for someone to cut that out of their existence, to me, is more than enough, I would just say, information that I need to know that this is real.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, even the Ivan T. Sanderson book, Abominable Snowmen, that is a fantastic book, because that actually goes across every continent, damn near every continent on Earth, besides Antarctica and maybe a couple of islands. But every continent has had, or has, frankly, a Sasquatch-like character.
Absolutely.
Pendek, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, like
Yowie, all those, yeah.
Yowie, right? So, wood booger. In the U.S., we have very regionalized versions of this creature, but I think, to me, that's also very important in the argument. And the reason why I think it's an argument is because still to this day, and again, this, as you kind of were noting, there's a certain documentary that's out there that's really calling that this is the Patterson-Gimlin footage is a hoax and it's a suit. And I'm like, it's unfortunate that it's really rattled a lot of who I would have thought as knowers, but now thinking that, oh, you're right, it's a hoax. But do you want to go down that route, Tom? You want to go down that?
I haven't even watched it, man. I just seen that it popped up on my screen. There's so many things to watch, and I just can't.
It's not even, and it's not even out yet per se. So this was actually a documentary that was first shown at South by Southwest near Texas, in Austin, Texas, right?
Okay. It's like a film festival or something.
Yeah, 100%. Okay. So that footage, or what they are saying is this costume that, somehow someone had it. Someone had it after all these years. And, it goes back to like someone who knew someone who knew someone who worked at Boeing, who then knew someone, right? All this weird stuff, who had the costume. But long story short, it's like there's so many studies that have been done on this footage. And this is where, again, I kind of go on the Bill Munn side of things. And like, if you haven't, please check out the book, When Roger Met Patty. That's Bill Munn's book. It's all about the PG film. And he really does, I think, a beautiful job of kind of dissecting the film science behind that footage.
Okay.
But then you have Dr. Jeff Meldrum, who I was actually out in the field with a couple times.
Wow.
And being able to talk to him, and just the amount of not only like scientific view of this, but then also just like the kind of the collegiate view. Like, he had that academia behind him that really, I mean, he could speak to it, and he knew that when he would be looking at footprints, PG film aside, when he's looking at these footprints, you can't fake that. Like he knew of those things. So this is where I'm just like, yeah, they're totally out there. It's just a matter of what does it mean to your point about.
I think it's a psyop, buddy. I got to be honest. I'm gonna say it. It's a psyop. Like, okay, so what happens if this?
Love to hear what you mean by that. Yeah.
A psychological operation, because look, once we say, for example, it is now accepted for whatever reason, we're on the verge of being able to prove to the academia that these are real things, and now it can be measured in some type of quantifiable way. Okay, all right, great. So once that happens, what happens? Then we have to say, okay, is the United States still the United States anymore, or are these now recognized as a species of humans per se? And I would say most likely yes. Then what kind of rights do they have? What kind of property rights? The fear people, money lost, who knows?
What you're bumping up against are multi-billion-dollar companies. You have logging and you have hunting.
That too, of course. So
that is kind of, to me, where, yeah, there's some real good strangeness happening. Yes. I believe that there are military instances where black ops talking with Tom Powell, and actually have gone out there with Tom Powell as well. I mean, he has shared stories of that. So the military is aware of it. There are instances where when Mount St. Helens had erupted, that the military actually had to go in and remove the bodies.
No. Oh, really? In Mount St. Helens? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that was kind of, those are also some stories, right, that you could hear in the Bigfoot community and Bigfoot sphere stuff. But as far as I don't quite understand why the protection of it, if it's not the billion-dollar companies, logging and hunting industries and all those things, I don't quite know what the protection instance would be for these creatures.
I'm telling you, man, if we as a human species really recognize the fact that on this planet there is another humanoid species that is just as intelligent but in a different way than we are, we will freak the F out.
To that point, Tom, we have a current administration who seems to be wanting to share a lot about extraterrestrial and aliens.
All right. Okay. Yes.
But not Sasquatch? What do you think?
It's a stepping stone. I think it's a stepping stone. Because
I would think that they would want to do something from this planet that we just don't quite know. Like fish that we don't even know that exist in the sea.
Well, that's where I think they actually come from. I don't think they're extraterrestrials. I think they're sub-terrestrials, whatever you want to call them. We've explored more of the universe than we have of our own oceans. I think they come out of the ocean. That's my opinion.
And hold on, can I rewind that?
Sure.
What do you think comes out of the ocean?
Whatever that is. I don't know what it is. I've talked to Doug Hychek, and he's talking about things that's coming out of his lake.
Oh, yeah. But I thought you were saying that.
Yeah. I'm just saying that's UFO types.
Are you saying that Sasquatch comes out of the ocean?
No, I haven't said that. That would be cool, though. I never thought of that.
That's what I thought you were saying.
No. We're crossing lines of communication. No. I'm talking about that actual UFO.
This is a whole new podcast now.
That would be a really, really cool one, actually. that would be cool if they were piloting. I wouldn't see, let's say, because if they're the woo element, which is a word that's been put on there to make it kind of to demonize it a little bit.
A little bit, yeah, totally.
More than a little bit. It's kind of it taints the meaning of it. But I've heard so many instances of someone there's an orb and then it just goes around the corner, and then next thing you know, there's a Sasquatch crossing the ridge, and then there's also a UFO involved with it as well. Yeah. It's such a people say, "Oh, it's connected somehow," but it's such a I don't know how to say, because you know how people use these certain phraseology that keeps coming in. I went down this rabbit hole and I was triggered, and all these. I try to make sure I don't use those. Well, I don't know. What are you thinking?
So that was actually my first experience. So.
Okay.
We were in Los Alamos, New Mexico, with the BFRO. And
Los Alamos?
Yeah.
You mean like White Sands, that area?
No, this was up in the mountains.
Okay. Okay, it's very interesting. Okay, because I know
They
isn't that where
literally
the
like they connect. It's like mountains, and then I think you do perhaps have the white sands. But
what do they call that? The Trinity test was there, wasn't it? Is it called Trinity where they had the first nuclear bomb test? Isn't that near there? Or am I
uh,
losing? Or am I off base?
I don't know. I'm just going to be honest. I don't know.
Okay, so where was the first? I'm gonna ask my AI brain. Where was the first nuclear test taking place? Okay. New Mexico, Trinity, location, Ornado de Muertos, so something of the dead. I don't know what that first word is.
So,
Gadget. Somewhere's in New Mexico, so we're in that area. We'll go with that for now.
well, as I'm looking at it as well, there are so many Trinity somethings.
It's a weird
Um,
thing they would use the word. It's interesting they would use Trinity too, and I'm not even a religious person. Just that they would use Trinity in that is also an interesting. Why would they use that phraseology? It just came to my head right now.
uh, I mean, I'm not going to get into why why
No,
why the white person decided to name something the way they did.
it just plants a seed in my mind. Why the first nuclear bomb test is named after some type of religious concept is weird to me. I don't know. It's just me.
I would say so. As I'm kind of looking at it, I would say that that's not towards that area.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough.
It's maybe more south, right?
Okay.
From what I can tell. Long story short, though, it was my first experience, second night that we definitely, I saw an orb that was about the size of a softball, grapefruit, amber orange. It got it maybe as big as a basketball or like a medicine ball, and kind of expanded, got to a certain point, and then was off to the point where I thought it was one of the guys that we were with, one of the leads of the group. But come to find out that this light source was actually in the middle of a tree, which was 30 feet up from where we were, because what eye line is was actually a hill or a
Drop off. Yeah.
drop off, and up the drop off is the tree. There you go. So you're seeing something eye line, but it's actually 30 feet up in the air. So that was kind of the first bit, but then getting ahead of myself, what I
Are you saying
didn't
that
tell
the
you,
orb? I'm sorry. Did you say that the orb dissipated or disappeared or what happened?
shut off.
Oh, you just didn't see it no more.
Yeah. So it
Okay. Okay.
went on, kind of turned on like a light. You could see the reflection of other, the leaf litter. Because at this point I was like, oh, it's someone's headlamp, right? Headlight.
Okay.
And radioed in, and no, that's no one there. That you're minutes away from connecting with us. There's no way you're biased, because I'm bearing the lead a little bit, but
Oh yeah.
why
Sure.
why we had come back up the trail is because we had gotten growled at, this super deep guttural growl. Go back to try to find these other two folks that we're in our group of five, so we were three. Got growled at. Tried to go back for the other two. Saw the orb. Radioed in. Is this you? No, it's not us. They then met us back up. I didn't even think, or like, I perhaps compartmentalized what I had seen as far as the light source, because we had just gotten growled at, and that's what I'm here for, is like, what the hell was that growl, which was deep and guttural. Shook my shirt, and Tom, at this time of night, I want to say this was obviously like past midnight, maybe closer to 1 o'clock, and the moon was full. I think that's super important for any Bigfooter out there. Like, I know there's those who are out there who are like, oh, I want to go during a full moon where it's completely pitch black. That's cool. You're not going to see nothing.
Okay.
If anything, it's going to illuminate you even better, so they can see you even better. So that's just my theory. But it was also super still. I mean, so still, no bugs, no mosquitoes, no flies, no nothing. No wind, of course, and like, you could actually hear your pulse beating in your ear. That's how quiet it was. It was almost like an anechoic chamber. It was crazy.
Wow.
And so we gathered up. We went to where we were growled at. They came across this meadow on the other, kind of incline of a meadow. And then as we crossed this meadow, there's a tree line, and this one of the guys who we went to go get is like 6'8". So if you can imagine, we were three of us. This creature growled at us. We ran away, and it thought that it thought that it had gotten rid of us.
Okay.
But then we show up with two more, one of which is more of a threat because this dude's 6'8", close,
Right.
approaching 7 feet tall, which is nuts. And the same guy brought out this wood knocker, knocked on it twice, nothing. But then as we approach this wood line, got again, maybe 15 feet into this wood line, crack, crunch, snap, pop, all of this leaf litter coming down. We knew that a tree was getting broken down. In our direction, this was maybe about 30 yards away from us. And this is the part of where I always find it super interesting. Then you hear this rumble, and I see all these shadows popping up and like getting up and starting to literally hightail it. Well, they're hightailing it because it was about 30 to 35, maybe even 40 unattended mountain cattle had gotten up from their slumber, was now stampeding down the meadow we had just crossed.
Okay.
And then as that subsided, you hear this crunch, 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 like this bipedal walking just down the other side of this hill ravine that we were on, right? So what I thought is so crazy about that is like, yes, there was that orb, but then also the fact that this, let's just call it a Sasquatch for what it is, right? Was by this cattle. It was either there for shelter, for heat source, for protection. It was trying to grab a burger, and like we disrupted it.
Or maybe like a diffusion kind of situation.
Diffusion.
You're right.
Yeah. And don't know. But what it's interesting is that this thing was next to this cattle and they didn't move. So they already perhaps seen this thing multiple times, or they just didn't hear it in general. But it didn't spook them. We didn't even spook this cattle. And we were 5 men, like herd elephants, perhaps coming across this meadow. But what did was this broken down tree. That was the signal to get the hell out of here. And not only did it try to signal that to us, but like the cattle clearly got that message.
Right.
So it just, that was the bite where I was like, oh man, now I got the Bigfoot bite. I'm infected. Here's like a lifelong journey that I'm like road that I'm now going to have to go down.
How long ago was this, Kevin?
This was back in 2012 timeframe.
Okay. So about 14 years ago. Okay. Wow. And so you just what, started searching in the woods of Minnesota, or started following leads, or all that? Yeah. What happened?
So from there, we went to Arizona. Nothing really happened there. Went to Sam Houston National Park in Texas, again, because we were just living in Texas at the time. I did see another orb there, so that wasn't expecting it, but it was literally, so the one in New Mexico was totally a sphere, but the one in Texas was more of like an oval shape. And I actually have this like on audio recording. It was more of a pinkish amber, or excuse me, a pinkish reddish color. Like almost like the taillight of a 1995 Cadillac. Like this was just long, right?
Okay. Trying to imagine the make and model of year. Okay, sure. Well, I know the 59 has a long fin, but we're 95. Okay. Sure.
Just think of a Cadillac and those long taillights.
Okay, I got you. Yeah. I do now. I just, yeah.
And I have it on recording, and I said, what is the car doing in the woods? It baffled me, because that's what I thought. That's what my brain put together. That's the puzzle piece that my brain was trying to, figure out. Then, of course, turned on, long light. It didn't really move. It just disappeared. That was it. So, other than that, we did catch some like crazy smells. I had a relative who thought that maybe a Sasquatch perhaps brushed past our tent because it was just this putrid cat pee, cat urine smell mixed with onions, mixed with, literally like a dumpster. And that would wake anybody up.
Okay.
Other than that, then that took me and kind of my exploration to the Pacific Northwest. The next best kind of experience that I had was capturing it on audio, which you can hear it on the Bigfoot archive. I have that there if anyone wants to go back and look at that. But what I believe is actually a baby Sasquatch that we caught in a tree blowing raspberries or bubbles, kind of the type of thing.
Yeah.
Just like that, Tom. And it did it twice.
Wow. Oh, okay. Look at me.
Look at you. It was you, wasn't it? God dang it.
I've never been up there, so I would have to say no. Is that okay? Yeah. I'm talking to my lawyer over there. I'm just
He's shaking his head.
No. It's cool. He's imaginary.
Yeah. Interdimensional.
Now, when you run across someone who says something like that, you don't just automatically dismiss it because of the experience of seeing an orb. Just that alone makes you go.
And again, it kind of goes. So it goes back to how I was raised, I think, but also just allowing people to. You can't dismiss someone's experience. Like,
no,
people go through so much in their life, and again, yes, your brain tries to put things together. I was on another podcast where it was kind of an interesting conversation where people were literally seeing a doorway of sorts and a Sasquatch walking through it or behind it. Yeah. So
I had somebody on who saw this. That's my representation of what he saw.
Right.
Yeah.
And so my theory to that, because I believe I try to put as much logic behind a thought before I speak as much as I can.
Oh yeah. Oh, and sometimes no. Sometimes just I enjoy the let's see where this goes. Or you get caught in the middle of a sentence like this one's going to be bumpy on the way out.
But I think what is interesting is my thinking is that they're seeing this Sasquatch. That's enough to make anybody lose their mind, perhaps. But then also seeing it disappear. And I think what when I was talking to this other person was, I think that's partially potentially our brain trying to understand what it is that we saw with a Sasquatch and then it disappearing. Well, what if your brain puts or imagines, so to speak, this doorway or whatever it might be? And again, all this to say, I can't dismiss someone's experience. If your background is truly what someone saw, that my brain didn't imagine it, this is exactly what happened. It's the same instance, and I love to bring up this experience that someone shared was I saw a Sasquatch walk out of a spaceship and it was handcuffed to a briefcase. I cannot dismiss that. That is that person's experience. That's what they saw. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, trying to stay on the more flesh and blood side of things, because frankly, if it's anything else, it's already hard enough to study the subject matter, to get people to buy into the topic, to have really kind of that logical conversation with the general public, so to speak. It's like, I just try to keep it on some type of a keep it within the arena that someone that doesn't dig the topic can understand.
Yeah, you want to make it kind of
accessible,
an easy on ramp onto the possibility of existing. I know what you're looking for, but it's easier to accept the fact that it might be an unknown animal than it is to say there's some type of interdimensional being walking in the woods.
That's right.
Right. That's what you're basically saying.
Yeah,
if I'm helpful at all, Kevin.
And the reason why, thank you, interpreter Tom. The reason why is because I think in order for science to acknowledge it, the minute we start talking woo, the minute we start talking anything extraterrestrial, portals, or anything else than that, that is that fringe science, right? Like it just becomes such an uphill battle. And I think in my heart of hearts that it does take us, it takes us further away from being able to teach this in the classrooms and
Yeah,
to protect it.
yeah, it's a precarious position to be in because you want to take people's experiences as being real, like we were talking as you were leading up to what you just said. But I think a good way of going about it is like people enjoy statistics, and you could say things like the Fermi paradox, like, oh, we're one star on one, arm of the Milky Way galaxy, and there's more galaxies within the universe than are grains of sand on Earth, so therefore there must be life on other planets.
There's also not wrong.
That makes sense to me. And then you go, okay, cool. Now, if let's just say there's 1,000, I know there's a lot more reported Sasquatch sightings within the United States alone within the last 10 years, which is it's more than easily. Now, statistically speaking, what's the possibilities of one of those actually being real? Well, that likelihood is very high. So therefore, you would have to then accept, at least statistically, which I think is a great on-ramp, as I was using this analogy to get into that. But if someone comes to me and says, like you were saying, I heard one recently, because I was speaking to a Native American, and they said they seen one inside of the orb. The orb expanded, and then it got completely to its size, and then it was there. And I was like, okay, I gotta listen to that, because it just makes sense to me. I've heard many other things, but for the the average Joe, or that's hard. That's hard for somebody who sells Pepsi products, and that's what they do. To accept something like that. I understand that, of course.
No, or for the white collar worker, they don't want to hear that.
Yeah,
that blows their image of the world that they live in. So that's where, for me personally, it's like, oh man, as much as those stories are so exciting, and this is actually kind of where Ronnie LeBlanc's book, Interdimensional Sasquatch, is like, I was so excited to read that because I want to be aware of that side of this potential creature, if that's a thing, right?
Yeah.
But then immediately, kind of his first chapter dives into these, what are they called, like fire eagles, right, or something like that indigenous people would see in the sky, and fire entities, right? Some type of flying creature, and it's like he immediately dives into that experience, and it's like, oh, I don't know if I can. I couldn't get past chapter 1 because I'm even in with myself of like, oh, you're going to go right off the bat to the other end of the spectrum before we get to meeting in the middle. Like, so
yeah, it's kind of like being a metalhead and introducing somebody to metal music. You want to go, okay, listen, this is Welcome to the Jungle. This is Metallica, the Black Album.
It would be like this is Napalm Death.
That's a great one.
And we're trying to get you to James Taylor. Like, that is.
I don't think I can make a better analogy than that. Was fantastic. This is Job for a Cowboy, and we're getting to the Beatles. I mean, Napalm Death is a much better. Oh, I just happen to have these here, man. Check this out. These are Mayan pottery shards.
That's awesome.
I found them when I was doing a solar array. I just happened to look over and see them, and I've been wanting to show people. Yeah, I was doing a well pump for a cattle ranch, and they were stuck underneath a solar panel array, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to just let these sit here.
That's got some energy to it.
Yes, but I have a very positive energy about me, and I vibe with it. And my girlfriend is Mayan, and I treat her well, so we're good. I was like, "Is this okay, baby?" She's like, yeah. She's also Catholic too. She's like, "Oh,
yeah." The holy water on it.
No, it's just like life is so interesting. I mean, I mean, like, how do you get people? I know that it isn't our purview what we're talking about now in your book and everything, but how do you get someone to go, okay, look, there's this, possibly, even if it's a flesh and blood creature, okay, there's this large bipedal primate that seems to be walking in the forest of the world, and many people and many ancestral people have seen it. It's in their literature, it's in their folklore. Okay, now let's talk about a werewolf, like Dogman.
Yeah,
Right? How do you do that?
it's so funny because the Dogman thing, I think one of two things. I think either the Bigfoot community is getting bored because they're out there for years and decades and are not seeing anything, and they want something more exciting and or thrilling to chase. I think that me personally, and so Dogmen, and by the way, Dogmen in Wisconsin is massive because I think we're the very first Dogmen entity state that ever kind of shared the story of the Beast of Bray Road.
Beast of Road. I've spoken to the farmer. I know him. Yes.
So that's just a click away. I mean, that's just truly a stone's throw away.
Elk something, whatever the name of that area is. I can't think of the name of the
Elkhorn.
town. Huh?
Elkhorn.
Yes. So what are you saying exactly? You're not buying it so much, or what?
No disrespect to the Dogman lovers, perhaps yourself, Tom, but I think it's potentially a misidentification. Now, people will turn back at me and nearly bite my face off by saying,
having a discussion. That's what's important. It's not look. It's like how do we get anywhere? It's just like the stupid political divide in the world. If we can't talk, as soon as talking stops, then that's where violence starts. Let's talk.
Well, let's talk. And then here I am already saying that no, what you believe in is BS. But it's the idea that I think it's a misidentification. But I think the rhetoric or like the argument is, this thing had pointy ears, not a Bigfoot thing. This thing had a snout, not necessarily a Bigfoot thing. It's more of a that could be more of like a baboon feature, which some people say Sasquatch has. But this thing had claws, not necessarily also a Bigfoot feature. This thing was thin and maybe more around like the 5 foot height. Also not necessarily Sasquatch, right? Although they do grow. So like
6.5. I normally hear between 6.5, 7 feet. That's what I normally hear.
Yeah. So of a Dogman, you're saying, Tom?
Yes. I've actually had on Jody Cooks, who is the president of the North American, and we went through like a lot of the pictures. And is it what do they call that? Where something is new doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It is also in some American folklore. It has been seen.
Yeah.
Could it be something missing? Could it be like maybe a chupacabra that's being? I don't know. There's many different types of them too. There's the pointy ear ones. You were going through them actually, Kevin. They were like, you have the one that looks more like a hyena, and you have the ones that kind of look like a bulldog. There's all different types. But what makes you think? We're walking down the road, together. We're chilling, bro. Whatever. No picnic, none of that stuff. But we're hanging. We're having a good time. What makes you say like I'm not buying it so much?
I think it's just the idea of to me, let's go back to the evolution side of things.
Okay.
I can bite off, literally, no pun intended. I can bite off on the idea of a Sasquatch.
Yeah, of course.
When we're talking a Dogman, now we're on the lines of, okay, well, now you're introducing canine or wolf type of features. That's not evolutionary. And now we're potentially going into the realm or arena of a shapeshifter, or potentially what then? A curse of a werewolf type of situation?
Yes.
Somebody just, and this is where I ask, educate me. Where is it coming from? What's the evolutionary trait and or the transition of this creature into what it is? Because it's got to feed, it's got to eat, it's got to reproduce, it's got to do all these things. So like, someone educate me on
You can speak with
What?
a gentleman named, he's from the Monstrous podcast. He actually went into the possibilities of them and their evolutionary possibilities. It's some valley in, it's a very remote valley in either northern Yukon territory of Canada or something. There's, if you're going down, okay, I need to fill this whole evolutionary wise, which I am having. I listened to a mathematician talk about evolution, the possibilities of it also just recently too, man. I didn't even know it was, you know, me.
Yeah,
Everything now has been up in the air with me now. Like, wait a minute, trust the science. Well, that's not science. That's not how science works. You don't trust it. Science is a process in which you redo the thing and see if
yeah.
it works again. Science consensus. There's no such thing.
Well,
You know, so everything is,
what I will give grace to
yeah.
is the idea that, man, the dog man character. And I just thought about this the other day before I was going to sleep. Don't know why,
Oh yeah, that's
but
normal.
we have those. Look at any of the pyramids and the hieroglyphics. They have dog man type people.
Yeah, the Anubis. Yeah, Anubis. Yeah.
Thank you,
Mhm.
thank you.
Mhm.
That traveled over as well to the European culture in the medieval times. And, trust me, if anyone were to wish that there is some type of a werewolf character, it's perhaps myself. That's my favorite horror character, out of the
Mhm.
universe of
What do you
monsters.
think would help convince you? That's a good question.
Probably having that experience. Now, here's the thing though.
Oh, true. I can believe that for sure.
I, it, if I were to go in the woods looking for a Sasquatch,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden, instead of a Sasquatch, I'm seeing this pointy-eared snout, 6 foot tall wolf character, but now on two legs, full on like just walking or hunching over potential carcass kill. Yeah, I would probably be the next person that would my whole world would flip on a dime. But I'm also already concerned about my mental capacity for handling a true Sasquatch experience because that's just a lot to take in, right? And I guess for
Absolutely.
those who are going for the dogman side of things, what are you trying to accomplish? Is it for yourself to realize that there's creatures that haven't existed, or that is it more
I
of a
just think people are running into them, man. I believe they
yeah,
are.
possibly, yeah,
Um, I just think people are running into them. They're, you know, if you listen to Martin Grove's account, he's just like, I'm seeing a freaking werewolf, and it basically has some of the same traits as when it comes like that infrasound thing where he frozen and he couldn't, and the only thing he can say to himself is Hail Marys, and he's a police officer and he fires off at this thing, and the LBL massacre. It's just there's been accounts from people who are legit. I'm talking people who've held
yeah,
political office, people who are state troopers for many, 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 many years, who
yeah.
said I couldn't say nothing about this because I would lose my job and my pension.
But
And now they say it, and it's kind of like, okay, if I have to, this is a place where I want people to be able to come forward with these kind of things.
oh
And we're
yeah,
just having a discussion. We're just having a
yeah.
discussion. Yeah, don't worry. So this is not me hitting you with a hammer or anything like that. That's a really bad whatever. And
Is that
I
what you
want
want to
people.
do, Tom? I
No,
can
no,
tell that's what you want.
no. What I want is an open discussion about it. Now, if you don't feel that way, that's fine. I'm not here to convince you. I'm just telling
Yeah,
you
no, but it's
one is more believable than the other. I agree with that. That one is definitely true for me. I believe Bigfoot to be 100% real, and I'm like 95% on the witch
I
mahoozy.
think it's
But
yeah. Go ahead.
yeah, it's just but because of the Patterson Gimlin film and the muscle flex and you can see the what is the hernia, you can see the braid and the
Yeah,
hair here and all those things. You're like, yeah, why would you make a Hollywood suit with a braid on the front? That would be such a weird thing
yeah.
to add on. Why would you do that? There's so many things where it's like, okay, yeah. But
So,
the other one's like, why not?
well, and
You
that,
know?
well, I think to getting to your point, I think also what would make me a believer too is more footprints,
We
um,
have some.
more of it, and I want to hear from someone who's also was like a Jeffrey Meldrum character. I don't know of one because that's not a topic that
Oh,
I
you mean someone leaning more towards the academia side who can actually you like the mystery and you like the eyewitness accounts, but you also want something that you can actually say, okay, we can kind of reproduce that has a little bit. Okay, we can see there's a mid-tarsal break or whatever it may be.
Yeah, there should be some authority figure, but who doesn't coin themselves as an expert or the authority. There should be someone who has, again, this is where I kind of go into Dr. Jeffrey Meldrum or even Bill Munns. Like Bill Munns was not necessarily a person who was into the Bigfoot topic. He just happened upon it because of his experience, and he became interested in people sent him things. But so this is where I'm looking for within the Dogman topic. Is there someone who has the, I don't know, animal tracking footprints that says this is something else? Please email, after the show here, if there is someone like that, or there's a podcast, perhaps you've even had it on yourself, anything like that.
I actually do have one. Oh, what is his name? It had 7 pads on its foot, 7 pads, where he said that doesn't fit with any animal that he knows, and it's in the snow, and it's very real looking. Yeah, it's something new, man. You gotta understand, like, at least in the realm of like, what the hell is this in the woods? Animals or creatures or whatever you want to, put them into type of, oh God, Fische. German words come quicker to me sometimes. Into a shelf or into some type of box.
Sure.
And it's a newer thing, so of course it's going to, and I think it's healthy. There's nothing wrong with healthy skepticism, and I do think you're coming at it through the manner of it's not heartless. There's a thought and there's a intention to what you're saying, which I respect, actually. You know what I mean?
Oh, I appreciate that.
I do.
Yeah, no, and I think to me that's where I'm kind of leading towards. But that's, I'm trying to remember also. Jimmy Chilcutt. So he was in Conroe, Texas, and he was the one who also worked with Dr. Jeffrey Meldrum to understand that in some of these, he was actually the one to help Dr. Jeffrey Meldrum understand that there are dermal ridges, your fingerprints or toe in a cast, and not only that, there's scar tissue. So this is, to me, it's like, let's look at those instances in these prints, but I would love to hear it from someone like a Dr. Jeffrey Meldrum who had years of, some of that education from, the collegiate side of things, but then also Jimmy Chilcutt, he was actually I want to say some type of detective.
I wouldn't say it's a new phenomenon, and I wouldn't say it's but I wouldn't even call it mainstream, but more in the purview of this area of what we do. It's relatively new. I would say one of the last 10 years. So it's going to take time for someone to step up and to fill those shoes,
and it's hard.
To be organically or whatever that may be, because you're saying it's an organic thing that happened to him. So I think we should be it's like us talking about Sasquatch in the 1990s or something, or the 80s.
Yeah, that's also
you know what I mean. That's kind of, but it's fine.
I'm open to it. Someone needs to reach out to me on the Bigfoot Archive. Tell me that they're going to be towards Wisconsin. Let's go out. I'm open to it. Right? Cool.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. So, all right, dude, it's cool. What's next for you, man? What are you're going to go out and do some more? You gotta. What are you doing? Film, or you want to keep researching?
So kind of all of the above, man. So I'm working on a 3rd children's book. This is more claymation based, so dabbling in that. But then I'm also going to be doing a Canada run where I'm kind of more so camping with a purpose, right? But then actually doing a UP run up there. That's Upper Peninsula in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be towards September. But then this is a very slow burn, but working on another a potential script for a Sasquatch film. I love the horror movies. I especially love the B horror movies. So
Yeah,
trying,
some of them are great. My favorite one is The Stuff.
yeah, that's great.
It's
I
a
mean,
great movie, bro.
yeah, like that's where is that? I think that's even on Netflix or something. But yeah, this is it's. I mean, speaking of B horror movies, I mean there are some really good ones. So like Demon Warp, that's actually a Sasquatch one from like late 70s, early 80s.
Hmm.
Uh, the movie called Bigfoot, that was from 1972. That had like Chris Mitchum in it and things like that. So those are all movies, especially The Legend of Boggy Creek. I mean, those are all classic movies. So love all of that stuff. And so why not try to dabble in that, create a
Okay.
script of my own, work with a buddy on that. Um, Needless to say, I'm out there in the trying to. I have the opportunity now to actually get boots on the ground. It's super important. However, if you can, if your listeners can't, if you or I, and you just can't seem to get out there as much as you want, that's great. Guess what? There are so many books that you can read, and I say books because that takes more time and dedication than some of the things that you can see on YouTube. There's a specific production company that I feel like every week or 2 weeks they've got this 2 hour documentary that they are
Yeah,
sharing, and it's like that's
yeah.
that's cool and good for them and it's fun content. But also just take a look at some of the portrayal of the Sasquatch that modern day documentaries are sharing. It's very woo. It's also very kind of maniacal. Like there's snarling. It's not the Letters from the Big Man, which is a great film where the Sasquatch is just sitting on a log and just chilling. Like
Okay.
there are so many of that. That to me is the story that I want to hear. I was very hopeful that Sasquatch Sunset was going to go down that road, but that turned out to be a completely crazy to me, almost maniacal take on a Sasquatch. But I argue with friends about that. But yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress, Tom. Sorry.
No, it's okay. What you're saying is basically you have a taste in films and what you like. So you like, say, for example, I'm the same way. I don't really like horror, but if I'm going to watch a horror movie, it's coming from the 70s, early
Oh
80s.
yeah, yeah. You
It's going
gotta
to be
have a little. I mean,
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Last House on the Left, The Exorcist. Those are just. It's not the. It's the.
no, no,
It's like the whole time, and it's so
yeah.
grainy and filthy and dirty, which is why I also like the music. I like it has that. You're not hitting such clean notes. It's got filthy, dirty chords in it, which I love. Yeah, that's great, man. I really appreciate it. One more time, where can people find you? Where can they get the material? Where can they reach out to you if they want to have you come on their show, man?
Yeah, absolutely. So by all means, reach out to me at the Bigfoot Archive. That's on Instagram. You can buy both my books, Billy Find Bigfoot and Is It Real or Not? Those are both on Amazon. Billy Finds Bigfoot is also on Hanger One Publishing. Check out Monster Quest if you haven't seen that in a while. That's Doug Hychek.
Doug Hychek.
Also, Is It Real or Not? That is at Barnes and Noble. But yeah, other than that, if you want to buy some cool Bigfoot shirts or mugs or Harry and the Hendersons mugs, I don't care that it's copywritten. I love the character. I probably shouldn't say that out loud.
No,
That's
he
also
didn't
on,
mean
that's
that.
on. Get your lawyer, Tom. That's
I got you. I got you. Well, she's
that's
here now.
on
I actually
my
do have a
Etsy
lawyer now.
account, Pine Shadow Design. Anyways, it's all there. So I'm searchable. You can find me.
Man, thank you so much for having your publicist or your whatever help reach out to me, man. This has been
Yeah,
fantastic. I love the rapport. I love having like just fun, open discussions, and I enjoy that. We don't always agree. What's wrong with that? People need to get back to that. You know what I mean? What happened
It
to the
sounds
world in
like you
which
and
we
I need
don't
to
have
do
to
a you
agree?
and I need to do a Dogman expedition and do a podcast of it.
Ain't happening. Ain't happening, bro. I'm
Yeah.
afraid of them. No, I'm afraid of all that stuff, dude. I mean, I've had poltergeist experiences. I've seen the Hat Man. So that's the reason why, you know what I mean? So my experiences are real to me. So why
Yeah.
wouldn't someone see a werewolf in the woods? I mean,
Yeah.
sounds
I
real to me,
don't
bro.
want that. I'm good. I'm
Oh,
gonna
I don't
stay.
want it. I don't want Bigfoot either, but it is. So therefore we are.
Yeah. But no, it'd be great to circle back after the book is, a third book's published and after
Sure.
my couple of
Sure. Hit me up. We'll have you on,
missions.
man.
Happy to reach back out.
All right, man. Appreciate it, Kevin. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks, Tom.
All right. We are the eye. We are aware. Enjoy yourself wherever you are in the world. Love you all.